Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back to do another speed review or first impression follow-up. So I'm just gonna go over a handful of products, give you my full review now that I have used them longer than just a first impression, and tell you what I think is worth it, what I think is not so good, and all of the in-between. So of course I will link everything that I talk about today down below and on the screen. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you enjoy these videos and you want me to continue doing them, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. So let's start off with some highlighter formulas. I have one that I really love and one that I think is just okay. Let's start off with the just okay. So this is the Glow La La highlighter from Benefit. I have the shade Luna, which is supposed to be a light medium. I have to say that I'm disappointed with the packaging. It is very cheap feeling. There's no mirror. This feels like plastic that could break. So that is a little disappointing, especially with prices being so high these days. Now, in terms of the formula, this has a kind of baked gelée type of feel, and it's very high shine. The problem for me is this is almost one of those like putty formulas that just sits on top of your skin. It doesn't look natural at all. It feels like it's pretty dry and just leaves a stripe. It is an okay formula. There's nothing really wrong with it other than for the price point, I'm just not that impressed. I have other highlighters that I much prefer, and the packaging just leaves a lot to be desired. Now, a highlighter that just launched that I think is absolutely gorgeous, I would definitely recommend. These are the new highlighters from NARS. They're called the Light Reflecting Luminizing Powders. So I have two shades here, Heavenly. This one is a pink, really beautiful high shine. I mean, look at that payoff. These are incredibly creamy and smooth. They remind me of the Gucci highlighters, but those got like hard pan and wouldn't adhere to the skin. These adhere to the skin beautifully. Like even if you've set your face with powder, very high shine, but you can like buff them in and they do look more natural. So you can get the best of both worlds. Packaging is very sleek and very thin, which I like. And then the shade I'm wearing today is Electra. This is more my speed because I do tend to wear golds more often, but look at this. Like insanely high shine. There's just something special about this formula in comparison to the Benefit. It feels just much more creamy and luxurious. Just highly impressed by this. I think these are absolutely stunning, and the packaging just feels really nice as well. Next, I want to talk about some products that I've been using behind the scenes for a few weeks. This brand is new to me, but I had been wanting to try them for so long. I see them all over social media. So I want to say thank you to Typology for partnering with me on this portion of today's video. If you're not familiar, Typology is a skincare brand that offers tinted products. I'm wearing a ton of them right now. This brand is vegan and cruelty-free, and all of their products are formulated and manufactured in France. Now, they really excel at creating hybrid products. So products that give you an immediate visual change, but also the long-term skincare benefits of using products with active ingredients. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, and I've been using the Tinted Trio and loving it. I'm wearing the products right now. So I first started out with the Tinted Serum. Now I did mix two different shades. I have the shade 1 that I use when I'm more fair, and then 2 is a little bit darker. Now this is really unique because it's a tinted product, but it's also packed with key ingredients like squalane, aloe vera, and vitamin C. So it gives you that nice hydration. I do find this to be a more glowy, hydrating product, but it really plays well with powder, which is important to me. It also has a buildable coverage, which I love as well. I have rosacea and I do need to be able to even out my skin tone. And the wear. I cannot believe the wear on this product. Once I set it with powder, I can get this to wear all day long, and a little bit of my shine comes through, but everything else stays intact. Next, I went in with the Serum Concealer. I have the shade 1, and a little goes a long way. So this is packed with ingredients like caffeine and niacinamide that's going to help depuff and brighten dark circles immediately and over time. What I love about this is how hydrating it is. Really does give you a nice brightening effect, but it gives you that hydration, and I have struggled so much as I've gotten older with just dry flakiness on my under eye, and I don't have that issue with this product. A little bit goes a long way. I really like to work it into my brush and then just pat it on and set with powder, and it looks good and hydrated all day long, while also just giving me a pick-me-up that I definitely need. And to finish off, I went in with their lip oil in the shade Powder Pink, and this is more of a sheer formula that you can also build up. It is super nourishing and hydrating on the lips, but it's not thick or sticky. It gives you that high shine finish, and it has ingredients like vitamin E, squalane, and jojoba oil that really hydrate your lips. So I've been really impressed with the products from Typology. They really just provide the essentials that give you that confidence that you're looking for. For me personally, I just have to have coverage for my rosacea, but I also want to take care of my skin as I get a little bit older. So I will have the details of the tinted trio linked down below. They also did provide me a special offer. If you click my link down below and make a purchase of $40 or more, you will receive a free Radiance Mask with yellow clay. So all the information will be down below in my description box. Thank you again to Typology for partnering with me on this portion of today's video, and let's go ahead and talk about some more first impression follow-ups. I have a couple bronzers to update you on. So the first one is the Soft Sculpt Blurring Bronzer from Makeup by Mario. So this was kind of a reformulation, I want to say. I didn't love the original version, but I do think that this one is way better. Such a smooth formula, very blurring on the skin. So I have the shade Light Medium, and I actually prefer this because I can build it up. I do find that it has a nice creaminess to it, but it's not powdery. When you dust your brush in here, you're not going to get a powder kick up, and it is a buildable formula, so it's not over the top where you feel like it's sticking down and you can't move it. It is just really smoothing, lightweight. It has a creaminess to it, which is something that I notice with a lot of Makeup by Mario products. So I think this is definitely an upgrade. It also doesn't have any shimmer to it, no radiance that I can detect, but it's not like flat and dusty, if that makes sense. So I think that's a really beautiful formula, and I also quite like this formula from Natasha Denona. Now I have to say that this is going to be for specific consumers. If you like something that is super dewy and glowy and hydrating, you're not going to like this, but this is the new High Sculpt Liquid Bronzer. So I'm going to swatch the shade here, Bonfire. Packaging is very luxe, very heavy, and it is a very pigmented formula. So it comes out quite pigmented, and when you blend it in, you have a little bit of time to work. So I would say less is more, and move quickly because it does sort of set down. There's no glow in it, no shimmer, nothing like that. Once you blend it out, it sort of settles, and it's going to be hard to move. So it's not a super emollient or dewy formula. It's more of a matte formula. I feel like you probably don't need to even set it. Once it settles, it kind of has like that soft matte feel, but I don't have any issues with patching or anything like that. I just think that it is more geared for those that have combo skin, oily skin. So I think it's really beautiful. The shades do run warm. I would say that even though it's a sculpting bronzer, it definitely is a bronzer through and through. Moving on to blush, shockingly, I only have a couple to talk about. I'm still getting my thoughts on other blushes, and I feel like it's sort of calmed down. So I wanted to update you on the Luminous Silk Cheek Tints from Armani in the glowy finish or the radiant finish. So I picked up both of these shades, 53 and 50. This honestly to me is basically the same thing as the original with a smidge more hydration and a glow, and it is more sheer. Now the original formula isn't like a crazy pigmented formula other than the red shade, so it's not like a scary in your face rare beauty type of pigment, but these are even more sheer, so I do find that I have to use about double the product. So this is the shade 50, and this is a really nice kind of like glowy coral shade. I do find that even though these have a glow to them, that they're not thick and they're not sticky. I don't find them to have chunks of glitter, so I really don't think that they enhance my texture. Obviously, if you put them like right on your pore area, you would see some sort of enhancement, but I find that this is a really nice kind of soft glow. And this is the pink shade here, 53. So you can see how sheer that is. If I wanted to build it up, I would just layer it. So I'm wearing this blush today. I mixed both of these shades. So you can see when you do add another layer, you are gonna get that pigment there. So I did about 2 swipes of each color and then just mixed it together on my cheeks. I find that these work beautifully with powder, just like the originals. So they kind of are just more of a sheer formula and a little bit of radiance to them. But overall, I find them pretty comparable. If you like the original formula and you're not opposed to having something maybe a smidge more sheer and glowy, I think you would like these. A blush that I'm just so on is this Cheek Stain from BabsBeauty. I saw these on TikTok, people were raving about them, so I purchased this shade, which is 01 I'm Cute. The first thing I don't love is the packaging. It is quite messy. You do have to like click it up, but then it just gets kind of gunky in the top of this, which again, it's very similar to like the Charlotte Tilbury. A lot of brands do this. The formula I have no complaints about. I do find that it is more of a matte formula, so it's very thin and almost like whipped. And I really don't have any issues other than I just don't love this shade as much as I thought I would. There's something really cool about it, but not in a like lilac or baby pink cool. It's almost like this mauve-y sort of cool tone. And for me, it almost just looks a little bit off on my skin tone. I don't know if another shade I would like more. In terms of staying power or like stain, I mean, I see a little bit maybe, but I am gonna be applying these products on top of my foundation. So the fact that with no foundation on at all, you really don't see anything left over, I don't foresee this, you know, going through my foundation and actually staining the skin, but I do think the longevity is okay on this. So take that as you will. I only have one skin tint to talk about today. I'm still testing out the Benefit foundation and I just don't have my thoughts yet, but I wanted to update on the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. So there was some sort of mix up with their website. I thought I ordered the shade 4 and I got the shade 1 and I still did a review with it, but a lot of you were telling me that that was like a glitch that happened. So I have since tried other shades, but I have been trying the shade 1 when I have like no tan on at all. And I have to say that the packaging I really like. It's nice and sleek, feels nice and weighted, although the price point on this was a little bit higher. Now this is an SPF 50, which I think is great. That's a really high amount of SPF. You still want to use an SPF underneath because to get the amount of coverage you need, you don't want to like slather this on because I do find that this formula is quite heavy. So I'm just going to swatch it for you. Even though it is thin in texture, it's quite emollient, quite hydrating. I do feel like it gives a radiance to the skin, but it is not forgiving on any of your pores, any texture. For me, it's just a little bit too heavy. It doesn't stay in place. I don't find that the wear is great. And it is something that just feels like it's on the skin, sticky, like your hair is gonna stick to it. Just much too hydrating for my skin type. And I have been liking more hydrating products, but I like lightweight hydrating products and I don't think that this is lightweight. The coverage on this I feel like is slightly buildable. I would say you can get a low medium, so I don't have any issues with it there, but just the longevity and the feel of it, plus the fact that it really does enhance my texture, it's just not the perfect formula for me. But if you have dry skin, you don't need a lot of coverage, you have porcelain skin, I think this may be something that you would like. Unfortunately, I have none of the above. Next, let's talk about setting sprays. So I have 2 here that I wanted to give my thoughts on. So let's start off with the Sephora Makeup Setting Spray. This is the Dewy Finish 12-Hour Wear Transfer Proof with Vitamin C. Now, I have to say that this definitely does give a nice dewy look to the skin. I would say it's comparable to maybe the One Size Powder Melt, but maybe like half of that or like 60% of that. There's something special about the Powder Melt. It is just like the supreme top tier glowy setting spray. That and the Dalba are like my 2 that I would pick them over anything else. The thing I don't agree with on this is the 12-hour wear. I don't think that this does make your makeup last longer. I do think that this is one of the formulas that can kind of get a little bit heavy in your pore areas, which is something I don't notice with the One Size in particular. And I also don't agree that this is going to extend the wear of your makeup. makeup. Something about the one size, it actually like makes your highlighter and blush and everything just sort of pop, but also keeps everything in place. This, I feel like, is kind of similar to like a MAC Fix Plus, something in that realm where it gives you a little bit of glow. It does settle in your powders, but I don't think that it's going to, you know, extend the wear. I've not had that experience personally, so I think it's an okay product. It's something that I would throw on days that I feel like maybe my skin looks a little bit dry or powdery, but if I had a long day and I really needed longevity, this would not be the one I would choose. And the other setting spray I wanted to touch on was the new one size SPF 28 Until Dawn mattifying sunscreen setting spray. So I love that this has SPF. It has 28, so it's not 50, but it is, you know, added protection. The thing that I was worried about with this is the fact that usually SPFs that are in a setting mist are extremely dewy, oily. They really don't play well with makeup products. So I find that this is unique in the sense that it does go over a full face of makeup and it doesn't disrupt your makeup. The one thing I don't agree with is the mattifying claim. It does not keep your skin matte. There is something in here that actually adds some glow to the skin. So I find that I do get oily around my nose and on my chin area moments after using this. So it does add some hydration, which I don't mind. But if you have oily skin or combo skin, that may be something to note. It's not something that I feel like I could apply 3 or 4 times over and over and not have my makeup just completely get oily. I do think that it does enhance the longevity of your makeup other than your oils coming through. But I wish they didn't have the scent in here. It is just so strong. I much prefer the formula and just everything about the powder melt spray. So I know that, you know, people love this, and I do agree that the original will lock your makeup in. Like, it is hardcore. It's almost like a hairspray, but I just wish that the scent would be removed. I have 2 mascaras I want to update you on. Both of them are drugstore. So let's start off with the Makeup Revolution Wrap Lash. So this is a tubing mascara, and I know some people swear by those. I kind of go in between. I'll use really any mascara that doesn't irritate my eyes and that keeps my lashes lifted. That's my biggest struggle. So this has one of those like prickly wands. I do prefer a wand that's a little bit in the middle. I don't want something too large and in charge that's going to get all over, but I also don't want something like super thin because I don't find I get any volume. So I feel like this actually gives you some volume and length very quickly. The only complaint I have with this is that it does get clumpy pretty quick. So 1 or 2 coats is all you need, and if you go too far, once it dries down, it can be a little bit sticky and your lashes will stick together. So I find that I have to be careful with this because if I go too hard on the layers, I end up with like clumpy spider lashes. I do think that it really does make your lashes look long, but I do find that really most formulas, I have to recurl my lashes after I apply this because the weight of it just kind of drops my lashes. But after I curl my lashes, I do feel like they look nice, you know, immediately after. So this is the mascara I'm wearing today. It just can get a little bit clumpy, so be mindful of that. And then I also have the e.l.f. Incredi-Curl. So this is not a tubing mascara, and this has a wand that's curved. So I like this for more natural days. This is more of a dry formula, and it just really layers easily. I don't find that I have much issues with crazy clumping or anything like that. I do think that this, again, needs to be recurled. That's just something that I feel with most mascaras. So off the bat, you're gonna get more bang with the Makeup Revolution, and it is a tubing formula. But if you want something more buildable and a little bit drier, the e.l.f. would be the one I would choose. So overall, I like both of these mascaras, but you know, nothing's gonna beat my Clio. Moving on to eyeshadow, I only have 2 products to review. The first is this Morphe 12 pan palette. So I briefly touched on these, and I did use some of these in some trying new makeup videos. I love the 6 pan palettes. They have these like chrome shades that are incredibly beautiful and high shine. Now this is a different format because this has the standard metallics. So if you like that standard matte metallic mix, creamy, but just no like glitter, no chunkiness, it has that like smooth metallic feel. a little bit more subtle overall, this would be the palette for you. So I'm wearing this today with another product added on my lid. I find these to be super easy to blend. The mattes are just really pigmented, but they blend really nicely, quite creamy. They're not super powdery, and the shades overall are just a great collection or curated color palette, because this is kind of the shades that I would wear every day. So I think these are a solid launch. I like this more for the mattes because I do like to add a little bit of zhuzh to my eyes, and that's where this next product comes in. Now, I was fully expecting to hate this product, and these are new from Danessa Myricks. So I have now used 3 shades, and I've used these multiple times. I have more shades I just received in PR, and I'm excited to try them, but these are so beautiful. So these are the Color Fix sticks, and they are duos. So you have a metallic side and you have a foil side. Now they are a cream shadow, but I just want to swatch and show you the difference. So this is the shade 5, and you have the metallic side right here. Very thin. It has a cool feel when you apply it. It does set quickly, so you want to apply and blend immediately. I find that these don't crease. They last all day, but you have to work quickly. So the metallics are a little bit more subdued when you get them on the eyes. If you want more of a bang, I would apply directly to your lid and blend the least amount of possible that you can so that you get that pigment and it stays intact. But the foil side is really the star of the show. So this is the foil end on that same duo, number 5. This is so beautiful. It is glitter packed, high shine. On the lids, it reminds me of the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palettes, the shimmery shades, but in a stick form. So I find that I have better control if I just use my fingertip and work off the shadow itself and then pat on the lids. There is zero fallout. Throughout the day, I do not have glitter all over. It doesn't irritate my eyes. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm telling you, they are so beautiful. So that is the first shade that I picked up, but today I am wearing the shade 3. So the foil side is what I have on my lids. Incredibly high shine, just so stunning. It gives you like that glittery look. They are packed full of glitter. If you don't like glitter, I would not purchase these. But I also want to say that different shades seem to have different finishes. There's a few that I was looking at that almost have a more subtle finish, and then other ones are more intense. So I definitely recommend taking a look at swatches and really deciding which finish you prefer. Of course, I want the most intense. I think this formula is literally a 10 out of 10. You just kind of have to figure out the application method that works best for you. And to finish off this video, I have a few lip products I want to update on. So the first one is the Vive Pout Dur Liquid Lipsticks. And I picked up the shade Bellini and Pinky. Now this is very similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lip Velvets. I would say more silicone, a little bit thinner, and more sheer. So it has that like slip to it. It kind of feels like a powder mixed in with a blurring primer, much more sheer than the ABH. So if you found those to be like thick and heavy and you like something more natural, I think you may like these. I do feel like I have to build up a little bit. I don't mind it though, because it is a really forgiving formula. So it doesn't have any like cracking. It doesn't settle into your fine lines on your lips. It just sort of smooths out and it gives you this like soft blurred look. And because it isn't crazy pigmented, you don't have any issues with like the ring in your mouth. It's just very easy to reapply. It wears off evenly. So this is the shade Bellini. These are the type of products that just swatch horribly because they are by nature just more sheer, but that blurred effect really comes from that silicone type feel, and it just gives you a really soft, natural, blotted lip look. And next I have to touch on one of my favorite lip launches that I found recently. This is the YSE Beauty Like a Gloss Hydrating Lip Tint. So I actually purchased every shade, I wanna say. They sent me one and I purchased 3 more. I have a problem. I'm not gonna apologize. So I just got these in, but I love love, love this formula. It is so hydrating, so high shine, pigmented. It actually nourishes the lips, but it looks so beautiful. So this is one of the new shades that I picked up, and this one is called Fashionably Late. It's a really pretty like toffee peachy shade. These do have a metal tip, and I just find that the formula is perfect. It's not one that you're like trying to get it out. It's so thick you can't get it to come out, and it's not so thin that it's slipping all over, getting outside of your lip lines. I also picked up Life of the Party. This is the lightest shade that they offer. It's a pretty like pinky peachy shade, and I love the amount of pigment in these because they just have this ability to make you look more put together. I tend to use the brighter shades when I don't have any makeup on because I look casket ready, as we've all discussed and we've settled. So I like to reach for like chief of everything. I have another one. It's more of a berry and I can't find it. You know, it might be in my purse, but just so high shine. And I love that you can really like sheer these out if you want to, or you can keep that pigment and they feel incredible on the lips. Highly recommend. Everything about these is a 10 out of 10. You need to add them to your cart. And the last formula I wanted to update you on is the Rare Beauty lip glosses. So these came out recently. I've been trying different shades and I feel like I have my thoughts. It's a lip gloss. There's nothing really other than, you know, shine and how thick it is, the smell, the taste. So the one thing I wish is that there were creamy shades. All the shades have shimmer in them. I would say that I actually really like the shade Dazzle, and I didn't initially pull this one. It is essentially clear, but it has this really pretty like shimmer to it. So it gives you that like icicle lip look. I think this formula is nice. The only thing is it can get a little bit chunky on the inner rim. There's something about how thick it is. It's not necessarily sticky, but there's something in the formula where it just gets that kind of gunky feel on the inside of my lips. So I have to remove it. And that's something I don't deal with a lot of other glosses. And this other shade is called Beam. They smell really good, like very good, like melon, juicy. They really coat your lips. I do find them to be quite shiny, but they do kind of look similar when you apply them. Most of the shades, because a lot of the shades just end up looking like this peachy shade. That's why I think I like this shade called Dazzle. So I think if you like a shimmer, you like something that's sheer with a little bit of sparkle, you will like these. I just don't think that they're anything revolutionary. It's hard to really impress me with a lip gloss formula. That's why I like those YSE balms. I don't know what it is about them. Everything about them I love. And these are just sort of so-so for me, which is where most of the time lip glosses fall, unfortunately, because there's just so many different brands and formulas. We really have seen it all. All right, guys, so I think that is everything that I wanted to share for today's first impression follow-up. I'm still testing a bunch of products, so I don't want to do these full reviews until I feel like I have my thoughts. So if you want more of these videos, do let me know down below. You guys seem to enjoy my first one, so if you enjoy these and keep watching them, I will keep doing them. So of course, I will link everything that I talked about today down below in my description box. Don't forget to check out Typology. I'm telling you, that serum tint is so good. I'm wearing it and my skin just looks so hydrated, but it's gonna look perfect all day. So I highly recommend checking them out and make sure you take advantage of that offer and getting a free purifying mask. So all the information will be down below. Let me know if you tried any of these products and what your experience was and what products you're loving as of recently. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.